Hello everyone, my name is Alex Milton and I am a K-12 Technology Integration Coach with Sturgis Public Schools. Today I'm going to share some of the professional learning opportunities that I've created for my teachers this school year. So please go to the link on your screen, which is bit.ly/RPL 2022. The RPL does need to be capitalized to access any materials that you may be interested in embedded throughout the presentation, including the Jamboard link at the end. So before I get rolling, I wanted to start with my why. Why create these professional learning opportunities? So back in July of 2020, the Michigan Department of Education had a change regarding district-provided professional development, DPPD. So because of this change, teachers in my district could no longer upload their own sketches for professional development hours. So if a teacher watched a webinar, for example, on their own time, they were told by district office that you can't get credit for that because it wasn't a district provided session. To me, that's a travesty because with all the new experiences with online learning, a lot of teachers in my district were more willing than they had been to use asynchronous methods to learn, such as watching webinars and learning in that virtual environment. So I decided to work with my district sketch coordinator to create more opportunities for teachers to earn credit for things that they're already doing. So we ended up creating 4 different programs under the umbrella of educational technology, even though not all of them have to be EdTech related. And it's been a huge hit in my district. During just first semester, I was able to provide 165 sketches to teachers across my district. By the way, if you want to peek at my sketch application, feel free to click on that pink box in order to preview those and see what learning I was able to provide, and definitely steal those sketch applications to use in your own district if you want. So before I dive deeper into those 4 options, I want to share my thought process of what I was looking for when I was creating the professional learning opportunities. So I wanted to create something that would be optional since teachers already have a lot on their plate. I didn't want one more thing to be required. I wanted multiple avenues for learning. So I wanted live options, asynchronous options. I wanted teachers to have the ability to do a small bit or a larger bit so that way they could get credit for what they're willing to do. I wanted a variety of options. So as I mentioned, it doesn't have to be EdTech related. And I wanted something that wouldn't take a lot of time, or they'd be able to get credit for things that they already know and kind of jump ahead on certain things and just focus on what they need and get credit for things that they already do. So let's dive into my first category, which is building professional development. So how this used to look in my district is that we'd combine all the elementaries together. Teachers would have to drive to a different building other than their own. And then they would just get learning for an hour that may or may not be relevant to what was actually needed in their specific building. So I changed it up this year by separating it out by building so that way they could remain in their building. And I worked with the principal in each building to see what their building goals were so that way I could tie each of the professional learning opportunities to something that really mattered to teachers. I provided both live and asynchronous options, as you'll see more on the next screen, so teachers could do what worked best for them or what they prefer to learn. So as you can see, I decreased the learning from an hour to 30 minutes each, so that way it wasn't as large of a time commitment. If teachers chose to go to the live 30-minute session, I made it hands-on, interactive, and definitely provided food because you got to. For the asynchronous portion, I provided video training as well as opportunity to sign up for a one-on-one session with me, so teachers could do that whenever they wanted at their own pace. The best part about this training, however, is the third tier, which is the application. So for an additional 1 sketch, all teachers had to do is apply what they learned either in the live or asynchronous, or maybe they did both, and then just complete a super short Google form showing how they applied what they learned from one of those sessions in their classroom. So if a teacher did a session on choice boards and then created a choice board and then used it in their class, they could get sketches for that. So once again, it's something that they hopefully would have already done. They're just getting credit for it. And this application piece was really something missing in my past professional development opportunities but it's so pivotal because after all, the point of professional learning is for teachers to use what they learn. So let me show you what the application looks like. I have the Google form link below so you can check it out too. I use the pre-filled Google form, so that way most of the first page is already set with the date of training, the building, the training, etc. pre-filled in. They just have to choose what type of training it was. If they chose application, they by default say it was worth one sketch. They just have to give a sentence or so explaining what it is that they did, how they took what they learned and applied it, and they could also upload evidence like a screenshot or a Google file if they wanted as well. And then since it's on a Google form, I was able to track it and then have follow-up conversations with teachers about what they've learned, shared it with other teachers. It was just a win-win all around, super easy, but giving credit for teachers and celebrating their learning. If you'd like to check out any of the example building PDs I've done, I have some elementary and some secondary versions for you to check out if you so desire. But for now, I'm going to move on to my personal favorite category, which is coaching. So offering sketches to participate in coaching cycles has been a really big game changer for me as an educational technology coach because it's the ultimate embedded professional learning. Throughout the school day, teachers can meet with me whenever they want, which could be during their planning time, could be during their lunchtime. It could also be before school or after school. And every part of the cycle counts for sketches. So for example, if I observe the teacher, or if they observe me, or if we co-teach together, or if we have a conversation about the method that they're trying, the strategy, all of that counts for coaching. And believe me, they were planning on teaching second hour anyway, so the fact that I was in the room really doesn't matter. So they're getting credit for things that they're already doing. And for me, the best part about it is that it's individualized for each teacher. They can focus on the goal that they chose and the strategy that they chose, and then they can see the impact of those choices. So it's incredible. So as you can see, I'm using the Google coaching model, but really you can use whatever model that you like. And something else I do when I pitch this to teachers is I showed them a real example of a teacher going through the model. So this was an elementary teacher in my district and what it looked like for her and how the model isn't fully linear and it just makes it more tangible. I also clarify what counts for sketches and what doesn't, because a lot of times someone will see me in the hallways and just have a conversation, just kind of like a break fix, how do I do this? And I clarified that doesn't count for sketches. I just wanted to be super upfront so that way no one felt like I was deceiving them in any way, I guess, which hasn't been an issue, but I just wanted to be sure. Let's talk about our third one, which is on-demand learning. So basically, teachers can watch any webinar or training on their own time, and once again, submit a Google form, which I've linked here, for sketches. So it can be on any topic of their choice, doesn't even have to be EdTech related, and the Google form is once again super easy to complete. So there's a lot of different webinars out there and a lot of opportunities for teachers, so it just makes sense that they should get credit for this learning. Up next, we have the informal learning PD, which I'll admit is a knockoff of what Michigan Virtual is doing for my PD. So there's a link to that if you want to check out the real deal. But basically what this is teachers set a personal learning goal, an individual goal, no coach attached in my version, and learn in whatever way that they want, such as listening to a podcast, reading a blog, etc. So for example, I have a gym teacher who came to me and said, I found a podcast about weightlifting. I have a weightlifting class. Can I listen to it and use some of the strategies in my class to teach students? I said, absolutely, that's what this is for, 100%. So a lot of these informal learnings like podcasts are things that teachers would do naturally anyway, but it's just another way for teachers to get credit for things that they're already doing. So that's about all that I have for you today. So hopefully you have some new ideas or something you'd like to try in your own district. But I'd love to hear some ideas of what you're doing in your district or some things that you wish you could do or want to do in the future. So definitely click on the link to the Jamboard on the final slide here and answer any of those questions or talk about takeaways you have from this session. I really appreciate that you watched this presentation. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the winter rally.